When we think of leaders, most of us imagine figures guided by virtue, honesty, and fairness. We assume that kindness, integrity, and moral principles are the pillars of true leadership. But history and Machiavelli tell a far harsher story. In his groundbreaking book, The Prince, Machiavelli exposes a reality that many refuse to face. Politics is not a game of ideals, it's a battlefield of survival. Here, morality often becomes a weakness, loyalty is fleeting, and power is the only currency that truly matters. The ruler who depends on love, friendship, or goodness risks being outsmarted, betrayed, or destroyed. Machiavelli's insights are shocking because they strip away the comforting illusions about leadership. He doesn't write about how we want leaders to behave. He writes about how they must behave to survive. He reveals that fear can be more effective than love, deceit more practical than truth, and strength more necessary than mercy. If you want to understand the raw, unfiltered mechanics of power, the strategies, the betrayals, the hard choices, then this is the reality you need to face. These are the dark truths that every aspiring ruler, strategist, or even a student of human nature must know. Machiavelli begins with a brutal truth. In the world of politics, being good often leads to failure. While most people believe that honesty, kindness, and integrity should guide a ruler's decisions, Machiavelli shatters this illusion. According to him, a leader's primary goal is survival and the preservation of power. If morality conflicts with these objectives, it must take a back seat. Think about it. A ruler who always acts with fairness and compassion may earn admiration, but that admiration does not protect them from betrayal, rebellion, or cunning opponents. History is filled with examples of rulers who were too idealistic, too concerned with virtue, only to be overthrown by those willing to do whatever it took to maintain control. Machiavelli doesn't promote cruelty for the sake of cruelty. Instead, he urges rulers to focus on practical outcomes. If a harsh decision secures the state, preserves authority, or protects the people in the long run, it is not only acceptable, it is necessary. In other words, effectiveness beats morality every time in the political arena. In this world, a ruler who clings to ethical principles above all else risks becoming powerless, irrelevant, or even extinct. To survive and thrive, one must understand that politics is a game of strategy, not virtue. This is the first dark truth. Morality is often a luxury that the powerful cannot afford. Machiavelli delivers another harsh reality. People are not naturally loyal or virtuous. The masses, he warns, act primarily out of self-interest. They will support a ruler as long as it benefits them, but the moment their advantage disappears, their loyalty disappears too. Trusting them blindly is a dangerous mistake. This is why rulers must never rely solely on goodwill or promises of friendship. People are unpredictable. Alliances can crumble, and companions can betray at the first opportunity. Even those who appear devoted may secretly harbor ambitions that conflict with the ruler's goals. In Machiavelli's eyes, expecting people to act morally or honorably is naive. Understanding human selfishness is not pessimism, it's strategy. A wise ruler anticipates betrayal and prepares for it. They create systems, safeguards, and structures that do not depend on blind trust. The ruler's authority should be anchored in power, not popularity, because power ensures obedience even when personal loyalty falters. In short, people are motivated by their own gain, not your virtue. Accepting this truth is essential for any leader who wants to survive. Rely on strength, strategy, and vigilance, not on the fickle nature of human affection. One of Machiavelli's most famous and most unsettling insights is that fear is a more reliable tool for a ruler than love. While it feels good to be admired or loved by your people, Machiavelli warns that love is fleeting and unreliable. People's affections can change with circumstance, temptation, or self-interest. Fear, on the other hand, has a lasting effect. A ruler who inspires fear establishes a foundation of control and respect. Fear ensures obedience, discourages betrayal, and keeps the population in check even when personal loyalty falters. Machiavelli is careful to distinguish between fear and hatred. The goal is not to be despised, but to be respected to the point where disobedience carries consequences that no one dares to challenge. This principle is grounded in practicality. History shows us rulers who were beloved but weak. They were overthrown by cunning adversaries because love alone could not secure obedience or protect their power. Fear, when wielded wisely, acts as a stabilizing force, deterring rebellion and strengthening authority. Machiavelli is not advocating cruelty for its own sake. Instead, he teaches that instilling fear, tempered by fairness and justice, is a necessary tool for leadership. It is a strategic, calculated approach, better to be feared with respect than loved without security. In essence, love may win hearts, but fear ensures survival. For a ruler who wants to endure and thrive, fear is the more powerful, more enduring currency of leadership. Machiavelli delivers a truth that many find uncomfortable. In politics, deception is not just common, it is essential. A wise ruler must understand when to lie, manipulate, or break promises to protect the state and maintain authority. Blind honesty, he warns, is dangerous because everyone else is playing the game of cunning and strategy. This doesn't mean a ruler should be deceitful all the time. Instead, deception is a tool, a calculated strategy to achieve survival and success. Sometimes the situation demands bending the truth or hiding intentions. Promises may need to be broken if keeping them threatens the stability of the ruler's position or the safety of the state. History is full of examples where leaders who relied purely on honesty were outmaneuvered by rivals who understood the art of manipulation. Machiavelli emphasizes that morality cannot guide decisions in situations where survival, power, or control is at stake. In politics, outcomes matter more than principles. A ruler who masters deception can protect the state, neutralize threats, and stay one step ahead of enemies. Lies, when used wisely, become a form of defense, a shield against betrayal, manipulation, and danger. In short, Machiavelli teaches that truth is not an absolute in leadership. Strategic deception, when applied thoughtfully and deliberately, becomes a necessary weapon in the arsenal of power. To survive, a ruler must accept this uncomfortable but vital reality. Machiavelli famously advises that a ruler must combine the cunning of a fox with the strength of a lion. This dual approach is crucial for survival and dominance in the dangerous world of politics. Each quality serves a unique purpose. Intelligence and strategy protect against hidden traps, while raw power intimidates enemies and enforces authority. The fox represents cleverness, cunning, and foresight. A wise ruler must recognize schemes, deceptions, and ambushes that others set. By thinking several steps ahead, anticipating danger, and maneuvering strategically, the ruler can avoid pitfalls that would destroy a less perceptive leader. Political opponents, rival factions, or even allies may harbor secret agendas, and only a fox-like mind can see them coming. The lion, on the other hand, symbolizes strength, courage, and intimidation. Even the cleverest schemes cannot protect a ruler from open threats without power. Enemies must fear the ruler's might. Rebellion and disobedience must carry consequences. Strength, both military and political, ensures that the ruler's authority is respected and challenges are swiftly crushed. Machiavelli's point is clear. Relying solely on either cunning or force is a mistake. A ruler who is only strong may be outsmarted. A ruler who is only clever may be overpowered. True mastery comes from balancing both, using intelligence to navigate deception and using strength to command respect. In essence, survival and success in leadership require this delicate balance: outwit when necessary, overpower when required. The fox and the lion are not just metaphors. They are the blueprint for enduring power in a world ruled by strategy, fear, and human ambition. One of Machiavelli's most controversial and misunderstood ideas is that the ends often justify the means. In politics, the results of an action matter far more than the morality of the action itself. If a decision, no matter how harsh, ruthless, or unethical it seems, secures the state, preserves authority, or protects the people, then it is justified. Machiavelli doesn't glorify cruelty for its own sake. Instead, he frames hard decisions as necessary tools for survival. Sometimes, to maintain stability or ensure the survival of a state, a ruler may have to act in ways society labels immoral, waging war, breaking promises, or even ordering executions. What matters is the outcome, not the appearance of virtue. This principle separates idealistic leadership from effective leadership. A ruler who clings strictly to ethical norms may find themselves powerless in moments of crisis. History is full of leaders who were too concerned with morality and lost their kingdoms, their influence, or even their lives because they refused to act decisively. Machiavelli's lesson is stark. Leadership is not a matter of being good, it is a matter of being effective. The survival of the state, the stability of power, and the protection of the ruler's position are the ultimate measures of right and wrong. Harsh actions, when taken for the greater strategic good, are not only acceptable, they are necessary. In short, in the ruthless arena of politics, the consequences of your actions define their morality. A ruler must be ready to do whatever it takes to secure their goals, because in the end, results outweigh ideals. Machiavelli warns that too much kindness or mercy can be dangerous for a ruler. While compassion is often celebrated as a virtue in personal life, in politics, it can easily become a weakness. Excessive leniency may encourage disorder, disrespect, and rebellion among the people. When subjects realize they can act without consequences, they lose fear and discipline, and the ruler's authority begins to crumble. Mercy and gentleness are valuable, but only when balanced with firmness. A ruler must sometimes show decisiveness and even cruelty to maintain control. The goal is not to be cruel for cruelty's sake, but to prevent chaos and ensure obedience. History demonstrates that leaders who are overly indulgent or hesitant to enforce rules often faced betrayal, insurrection, or collapse. Machiavelli's point is subtle but crucial. People respect strength more than compassion in matters of power. While occasional acts of kindness can inspire loyalty, unchecked generosity can be exploited by the cunning and ambitious. A wise ruler uses compassion strategically, offering leniency when it reinforces authority, but never allowing it to undermine control. In short, mercy must be tempered by strength. A ruler must show that while they are capable of kindness, they are never to be underestimated or disobeyed. Balance is key. Enough compassion to maintain loyalty, enough firmness to maintain power. In the game of politics, unchecked softness can be fatal. Machiavelli recognized the immense power of religion as a tool for leadership. Whether or not a ruler is personally devout, projecting an image of piety can help maintain authority and control over the populace. Religion, he observed, has a unique ability to influence behavior, instill obedience, and unify people under a shared set of beliefs. Appearing religious can strengthen a ruler's legitimacy. When the people believe their leader is guided by divine principles, they are more likely to respect laws, accept authority, and follow rules. Even if the ruler's personal intentions are pragmatic rather than spiritual, religion becomes a strategic instrument to stabilize the state. Machiavelli emphasizes that this is not hypocrisy, but practicality. The ruler's goal is not to be morally perfect, but to secure power and ensure the survival of the state. Religion, when used wisely, inspires loyalty, deters rebellion, and guides public behavior in ways that laws alone may not achieve. This principle also highlights human psychology. People naturally look for meaning, purpose, and moral justification. A ruler who harnesses this tendency can strengthen control without resorting constantly to force or fear. By intertwining authority with perceived divine sanction, the ruler ensures obedience and maintains order more effectively. In short, religion is a powerful tool, not necessarily a matter of faith, but a strategic lever. In the complex arena of politics, perception often outweighs reality, and a ruler who appears righteous wields influence far beyond mere laws or decrees. Machiavelli delivers a stark warning about loyalty. Friends, alliances and promises are fragile and unreliable. In the harsh world of politics, even the closest companions may betray you if it serves their self-interest. A ruler who places faith solely in friendship or personal bonds risks losing everything when those bonds are tested. History is full of examples where trusted advisors, allies or family members turned against rulers at the first opportunity. Machiavelli observes that human nature is fundamentally self-interested. People follow the path that benefits them most. Personal loyalty is rare, and reliance on it can be fatal. Instead of trusting individuals, a wise ruler should trust power, specifically military strength, political influence, and the structures that enforce authority. Power provides security that friendships cannot. When people fear the consequences of disloyalty, they are less likely to betray. When institutions and systems back the ruler, personal relationships become secondary to the stability of the state. This is not a call for paranoia, but a lesson in strategic leadership. Wise rulers cultivate allies carefully, but they never depend solely on goodwill or affection. They create a foundation of authority that is independent of personal bonds, ensuring that loyalty is backed by consequence, not emotion. In short, in the realm of power, relationships are fleeting, but strength endures. Trust in systems, structures, and your own authority, not in the fickle loyalty of friends. This is the pragmatic, often uncomfortable truth that separates effective leaders from those who fall victim to betrayal. Machiavelli's final, and perhaps most unsettling, truth is that in politics, power is the ultimate reality. All other virtues such as honor, morality, kindness, and principles are meaningless if a ruler loses control. Survival, authority, and dominance are the only constants that truly matter. Even the most virtuous ruler can be toppled if they lack the strength to defend their position. Ethical behavior, good intentions, and public admiration are powerless without authority. History repeatedly shows that those who prioritize ideals over power are often betrayed, overthrown, or rendered irrelevant. In the brutal arena of politics, survival is the measure of all success. Machiavelli does not glorify cruelty or deceit for pleasure. He frames these strategies as necessary tools to preserve power. Without power, a ruler cannot implement policies, protect citizens, or ensure stability. Power is the foundation on which everything else rests. Without it, honor and virtue collapse into irrelevance. This principle serves as a warning. Attachment to ideals or moral perfection is a luxury the powerful cannot afford. Leadership is not about being liked or admired. It is about maintaining control, securing the state, and ensuring that your authority remains unchallenged. In short, power is not just a means to an end. It is the end itself. Everything else, including morality, loyalty, and compassion, is secondary to it. The ruler who understands this truth can navigate the treacherous waters of politics with clarity and resilience, while those who ignore it risk being swept away. Machiavelli's The Prince strips away the comforting illusions about leadership and exposes a harsh, unflinching truth. Politics is a battlefield where survival, gunning, and power outweigh morality, kindness, and virtue. If you want to endure as a leader, whether in a kingdom, a business, or even in the dynamics of everyday life, you must understand these principles. Morality alone cannot protect you. Loyalty is fragile, love is fleeting, and compassion can be exploited. Only a ruler who balances cunning and strength, who uses fear strategically, who wields deception wisely and who places power above all else can survive the treacherous game of leadership. History is a testament to this reality. Those who cling to ideals without understanding the mechanics of power are often crushed by the ruthless, the clever and the ambitious. Yet Machiavelli is not simply advocating tyranny. His lessons are pragmatic, not cruel for cruelty's sake. They are a guide to navigating a world where human nature is often selfish, unpredictable, and dangerous. Understanding these truths allows a leader to anticipate threats, protect the state, and maintain authority without being naive. The ultimate lesson is this: power is not a tool to be taken lightly. It is the foundation of survival. To lead effectively, one must embrace strategy over sentiment, results over ideals, and strength over softness. Those who master these truths can not only survive but thrive in the harshest political climates. So remember, in the game of power, the dark truths are not pessimism. They are survival guides. Those who understand them hold the key to enduring authority, while those who ignore them risk being swept away by the currents of ambition, betrayal, and human nature. Final thought: leadership is not about being loved. It's about being effective. It's not about being morally perfect. It's about enduring. And in the unforgiving arena of power, survival itself is the highest virtue.